Good morning. 1 second. Let me turn down the volume of this music that I love to let run. Super professional. Maybe that's a little bit too low. Let's keep it there. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Breakfast Spelunky for February 7th, 2020. It says go team go. Thank you, Tripmo. Go team go. Yay. Maybe better than last time. Yeah, last week was a disaster. Last week I think I died on 1-2 or something like that. Usually spikes, right? Stunned, spikes, kickback from the dart trap, spikes, more spikes. Always get killed by spikes. If the audio mix is off, let me know. I'm fiddling around with stuff. But without further ado, let's get this show on the road so I do not bore you with the stuff that I will then bore everyone else with after I die. I'm feeling pretty good about this run today. I don't know why. I think I beat the daily on the PSN 2 or 3 days ago, and that was pretty cool. Felt good. It's one of those things that never stops feeling good. I always thought it would, never does. But let's not try to jinx that right away. What am I doing here? Jesus. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Something I notice of myself is that I think I start messing up when I get, like when I start... Okay, that's when I start messing up. I start messing up when I run around a lot. When I'm just like hitting constant run. Yeah, that's safe, right? Yeah, that's safe. Oh, that's not safe. Okay, taking 2 damage... Yeah, I'm gonna use a bomb. Probably also not the best idea in the world to use a bomb there, but I just like, I don't already want to die to a dart trap. Just because I was not good enough to be a little bit more careful, which I, turns out, am not. Like, I literally just started talking about it. Like, okay, sometimes I'm not feeling, I'm feeling confident, and that's basically my downfall. So yeah, what else? Let's see. If I start narrating my run and the games I played this week, I think I'm gonna die faster. But nonetheless, it'll come up later anyway. The game I finished this week, or I guess last weekend technically, is Outer Wilds. Not the Outer Worlds. Outer Wilds. Is that worth 2 ropes? No. Yes. Maybe. Yeah, come on. Oh, it's not 2 ropes, right? Because I'm not gonna... Well, it might be 2 ropes. No, it's not. See, wow, if I'd wasted 2 ropes on that... Okay, that's what I got over here. Unparalleled Dev, hey, Andy plus chat. Hey, Ix, this is the run. Yep, we'll see. Unparalleled Dev just says, I can finally get to the ice caves. Hey, oh, no. That's a huge achievement. I remember when I got to the ice caves the first time. And then died quickly because it's an infinite pit. Which is the easiest thing in the world to not die to once you know that that's the easiest thing in the world to not die to, basically. Am I going to get to that? I think so. I don't think I have to bomb my way there. Because I definitely want to keep myself... I always want to keep myself above... Oh boy, where did I miss the key? Please no. I always want to keep myself above 2 health because the dart trap does too. And I still haven't internalized the whole idea that I could carry a little rodent around with me. Oh please, really? Okay, I don't like this. Okay, obviously I don't like this because now I'm gonna have to figure out where I missed. Where did I miss the key? Was it all the way at the top? Are you kidding me? Oh god, is it all? It has to be over here, right? This is the only... Yeah, it has to be over here. Oh boy. Yep, it's all the way over. Wow. That's gonna be 2 more bombs. Well, thank god I found enough. Okay, this is fine. That's not so great. Okay, but I think I got this. I think I can still get out of here alive. Yep, that worked. I always wonder, do I have the glue? I don't, so let's do that. Not great. Not great. Unparalleled Dev says, I had 1 HP when I got all the way to 3-4, then died to fall damage. Yeah, that's also unfortunate. That's what I meant last week about the like highly non-dramatic deaths, right? Where you're like, everything else was better than the actual act of like dying to 1 health. But hey, sometimes it makes for a good drama. I've started realizing that when I'm on autopilot, I'm not doing a better job, right? I mean, this is a whole debate, right, to be had about the value of gut feeling versus actually thinking it through. I don't, so I already have those. Oh yeah, no-brainer. Yep, thinking fast and slow. So I think this game requires both, but of course, having like an actual amazing speedrunner in the chat. I don't know what Ix's take on this is. Probably when you're playing at that level, I'd say that even your strategic decision making is potentially on autopilot. But maybe Ix can say something to that. Like I don't know. Kinney operates on a different human level, as far as I can tell. And Ix does as well. Like it's just like I can't imagine that there's still a ton of like, oh, this is what I should be doing right now, and it doesn't. At least it doesn't happen at that speed level, right? It goes way faster. Let's say what Ix says. I've done more of the obscure challenge runs than speed runs. Yeah. Well, you got to come up with something, right? Because the other stuff is probably trivially easy to you. Like for some reason, maybe because I don't play the game, quote unquote, as much. I still get enough out of this, right? So Ix says, yeah, it's a good amount of thinking still. That's an interesting take from a perspective of a game designer, I would assume. Which, let's just face it, the Moss ranking community that includes all y'all, right? You're game designers. I always try to have this conversation with people who don't self-identify as such. And which is fine, like no, but the second you design something like a scoring matrix for like which run is going to happen when and which high score, you're basically co-designing the game with Derek, right? And in that case, what you're telling me there is, oh, interesting. So, do I even want to go down that snake pit? Like, I know that so I have the Udget Eye. I have a Matic, which is normally the thing that you want at the bottom of that pit. Yeah, I'm not going to just jump down there right now. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's see. What does Ix say? Happy to give myself co-designer of a Spelunky credit. Sportprintf says, great point, Andy. Yeah, here's my other version of this. And here's where I finally start to get saying dumb philosophical shit. My other version of this is when people come to me. Oh, nice shop. When people come to me and say stuff like, I'll never learn how to code, right? Which just the other day in class, I admitted to my students that, hey, guess what? Guess what's not my favorite thing to do in life? Coding. I like it all right. Let's just say that, because it allows me to do stuff that is cool, right? But the act itself, oh boy. The act itself is not like, oh boy, I can't wait to get back to write code. I know that some people have that, and I probably had it when I just started programming, because it is fascinating. But it's definitely jaded at this point. And the other thing about that is, so I get people who are, say, predominantly identify as artists or designers, say I'm never going to learn how to code. And I'm like, well, if you're a game designer, you kind of already are doing that, because literally writing down the rules into a rule sheet is... And then that's a piece of software that has to run on a human, right? Which is way less reliable and way more, way less deterministic. Yeah, Sportprendev says, I've never thought of it. Speedrun categories or really house rules. Oh, yeah. Right? 10 years ago when I started getting intertwined with the New York City game design and development scene, my good friend Charles Pratt gave a talk at Games for Change called Make More Tennis Balls. That was basically, I think he was even talking about like a Metroidvania at the time that I'm blanking on right now. It was like a 3D rendered Xbox live arcade game with a shooter, with a person with a gun. And he was talking about how people just like put up their own constraints, and was basically saying making more playgrounds. Unparalleled Dev says programming is really empowering once you get the hang of it. Oh yeah. All of that is agreed, right? Fully agreed. I feel like I'm going to, over time, I will say things that I've said before, but I'm that person who stops at the 80% mark. If I get 80% proficient at anything, then something kicks in with me, which is I'm probably only going to live once. And so instead of spending another 80% of my time getting to the 100%, I just do something else. It's more fun for me. Maybe less monetarily rewarding. I don't know. It's also the thing. Whoop, there we go. Hey Docky, 80/20 life, yo. It's good. I have been told, though, of course, it is as so many things, also a point of amazing privilege that I am privy to. That was a little bit too close. So I've been very fortunate, right, to have been born in the U.S. and raised in like a prosperous Central European country named Germany, right? So, go figure. But basically, my job now is to kick it back as much as I can. Best way I know to do that is to be an educator and available to people. Okay, I think there's nothing left here to do. So yeah, lately because I'm teaching it in class, I've been messing around more with Unity, which, I'm as late to the party. Oh no, what was that? Come on. I'm as late to the party as I could be. My kid's screaming. Docky says I'm good at many things, but rubbish compared to the expert, but affords me a holistic approach to tasks, which is a skill unto itself. That is I'm going to copy and paste that later. Because of course I've never expressed it in that way, because it always feels a little bit like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so special. And also sometimes it sounds like I'm being a little bit cheeky, but it's just like I don't really have much of a choice in that matter. Because if I do it any other way, I'm not happy. Do I want to... No, I don't want to bomb this. I mean, I have 17 bombs. Guess I could bomb this. What am I doing here? I'm clearly... Okay, so what you're seeing here right now is me being way too confident. Oh shit, I also don't have glue. Okay, that's terrible. Please fix the grammar. I will. ShadowDX says you touch the world. Yeah. So it sounds like you don't have any time for gatekeepers in games. Not exactly sure what you mean by that. Maybe you can clarify. Okay, so the second shopkeeper clearly didn't jump down. So now I'm just like scared about what awaits me on the other side of this. Right, because normally I wait here for the shopkeeper to come over, but I don't see a shopkeeper coming over. Oh, okay, because there is none. Wow, what happened down there? So I hate hate not having the paste or glue or whatever it's called. Wow, really? That's garbage. Okay, this is a situation I don't necessarily want to find myself in. Are you kidding me? How many times are you going to avoid that bomb? There, I think that got him. Okay, there's too much good stuff around here to just eject, which is greedy, I'll admit. I kind of want that cape. Okay, 227. Let's see if this is still doable, or if this is gonna get too hairy. Okay, let's get out of here. Okay, I'm basically leaving behind a cape and another dozen bombs. Just because I'm too distracted right now. Yeah, let's just get out of here. This is clearly a moment where where I'm not confident enough because because of the whole narrative stuff. Unparalleled Dev says, I've been working with Unity for about 5 years now. It's a fantastic piece of software, but I use like less than 25% of the features. But that's good. If you know where they are, that's great, right? I think one could say that about most big tools, right? Like I think not many people use more than 25% of Photoshop, Maya, Illustrator, you name it, right? Ix says, you got this. Well, I did somehow, I guess. Docky says, I quit being a game artist when it became fussy with sculpts and tool chains. I also had too much interest in games as a whole to resist doing game design. Yeah, it's also, whatever. I'll get to that. It's interesting to learn. It's just fun to learn a new thing. What can I say? Cape, says Ix. Yeah, no, later. I'll get the cape when I need it, hopefully. ShadowDX says, I'm thinking of checking out Unity, but I have zero artistic ability. Oh boy, do I have a lot to say about that. Here's the bottom line. It doesn't matter. Go to cooler.adobe.com or whatever it's called now. Find a cool color palette. Color a bunch of weird abstract shapes with that palette and start making stuff. And if you need inspiration, look at the Hyder symbol experiment on YouTube. That's all you need to get started. Gatekeeping. Oh, Sportpreneurs. Gatekeeping, as in making rules about what constitutes real game making. Because Sportpreneur, because it doesn't matter, right? None of that matters. It matters academically if you're having that conversation with academics, maybe, but it doesn't matter. Just make stuff, right? Gatekeeping happens when you have expectations about what your game should provide you in terms of sustainability. And then you think that you're being held away from stuff, but it's complicated, right? Unparalleled Dev says, I also have no artistic ability. ShadowDX, they make asset packs for people like us. I think Bennett's a great artist, don't get me wrong, Bennett Foddy, but I think a lot of the stuff they used for getting over it was like assets. They just clicked together as like a garbage pile. I'm probably wrong about a lot of what I'm saying here right now, so don't take that with a grain of salt. Noun project for 2D icons says Sportprintf. Yeah, I used to use that. I haven't looked at that for forever. It's a resource, right? It's amazing. Okay, I'm gonna play the next level and then I'll look at the chat. You guys knock yourselves out there. Probably because maybe some people are not interested in our banter. I'm not sure. I'm always a little bit anxious about going on and on. But yeah, I have my art skills. Like I know because I've played a bunch of the games that Docky's made in the past. That Docky's background is that, and that's why a lot of the art is just far superior than anything I'll ever draw or illustrate or anything. So you always find that thing that you're better at, that you're good at. I don't even mean better at than anyone else, but like the thing that you are more reliable at, and you start finding your style, right? I think it kind of starts mostly with you just realizing that, wow, that was crazy. I still don't have, wow, this is not great. For me, the realization came mostly through seeing that every single person whose style I loved was able to show me earlier work of theirs, and it was like not entirely dissimilar from what I would do. Right? So they didn't start. Some people have more talent at it, but I think interest and focus goes a long way. Oh yeah, Docky says you can do so much without art, and art holds people back. Yeah. Other way of saying what I said earlier about use the things you can do. Like I had students in class last week show a 2-player prototype that was like a beat game. And without giving too much away, like it was basically you could only there's one ball and you could assert a force on it. There wasn't a player character. You could assert a force on it when the beat was on your side and you had to beat match with it. And then get it into a goal that was also moving. Literally the art assets in that game were a circle and 2 pong paddles that were moving around. That's it. Right? And yes, it had a cool beat and it was doing some disco lighting. That's all it took, and that was one of the strongest prototypes. Right? It got voted up in the highest regards for the prototypes of the week. So 3 sprites, right? Yeah, Docky says, speaking as an artist, my best progress is when I stop fussing with it, with art. Unparalleled, I've also heard Fadi say that. Yeah, I think he famously cobbled that together, right? He wanted it to be like stuff that he took from elsewhere because he was trying to, pay tribute to sexy hiking. Garbage Pile Gaming says Shadow DX, nice ring to it. Docky says, I'd highly recommend building without art for a while. Could not be more in favor of that. Shadow DX says, I'm good at getting addicted to Slay the Spire. Hey, you know what you do in that case? You start a stream where you talk through your play process. And you have like a little cozy amount of people who are watching you once a week, like a dozen, I think is what we have here right now, which is kind of cool. Sportbernef says Michael Bros art is totally programmer art, but doesn't stop everything to be great. I fully agree. We always speculate what would happen if Michael's stuff didn't look like that. And of course, it's like super punk rock that it does. And there's another thing that happens over time, which is his art style is so all over the place. And at first it's like, I don't mean per game. I mean, in game it's pretty consistent, but then he tries something very different the next time. We desperately need to have Michael on the show. And I start liking it. Like some I like less than others, but 868 Hack and Syncopaus to me are beautiful. Like I like the visual aesthetic. Docky says anything that lets you edit geometry in the editor is the best for making progress. Yep. Protoshape 2D and UModeler Pro Builder are favorite tools. I've used none of those at this point. I started teaching myself Blender because I think, as I mentioned before on the show here, the UI got good, like really good. Oh, and the other funny thing that happened this week as I continue playing this game, I was complaining so hard in my first week of class to my students about how the UI, man, I still don't have glue. I do not like this. I was complaining to my students about how bad the UI in Unity is, and I was complaining about like tiny stuff, right? The fact that I can't believe... maybe I gotta be a little bit careful here. I couldn't believe that the buttons were still embossed, right? I was like, what is this? Like iOS 2009? And then literally a week later, they put out 2009 version 3, or 2019 3, and it flattened everything. Like, it didn't necessarily reorganize the UI, but at least the buttons aren't embossed anymore. So thank you developers at Unity, who, in regard for my eyes. Ooh, I, again, do not like what's happening here. Just gotta focus for a second. Let's see. Unparalleled Dev says, I started without art. After a while, it felt sad while testing it. Add some free art, change the whole tone of the game. Yep, and the same can be said for while you're developing the game. When you add music and sound that you will never in a million years ship the game with because it's probably copyrighted, but you tend to like it as like a target audio. That can go a huge, long way. It says Michael Bros just announced that his name rhymes with cough. Broth, and that everyone's been mispronouncing his name. Is that true? I mean, I've met the guy in person, but maybe I only said Michael to him. Wow. Please link me to the tweet that says that. I'll try and find myself. Unparalleled Dev says Thomas Was Alone by Mike Bithell showed you don't really need fancy art, and I use that as an example in class all the time, right? Where it's like the character, and it comes right after the Hyder-Symbol experiment, which is like a 1940s experiment that I can show you later. Docky says Vertex Dispenser was really fancy 3D art, and I'm glad Broth Cough didn't continue that bound down path. I agree. So Vertex Dispenser was the first game I played of his, I think. And for some reason, at the time when that came out, 2011, I want to say, I was hanging out in LA. I downloaded it on Steam, and it didn't grab me because to me, that game wasn't just the art, but also just like I have a background in I have a background in like geometry processing, and so I knew a lot about mesh compression. And mesh compression relies heavily on the order in which you traverse the vertices, right? Because you're doing entropy coding, yada, yada, yada. Boring, boring, boring. And to me, Vertex Dispenser felt like mesh compression : the game. And I was like, I don't need that. I don't need that thing that I do for professional development. I don't need to do that in my video game. Okay, where are we? We're on 3-1. As probably most of you know, 3-1 will never contain the head. So now basically all I have to do is make sure that I get out of here without killing myself. Ooh, that was a tad too close for my taste. What do I do here? I still don't have... Okay, here's the super, super secure way I'm gonna... Ugh. Thanks a lot for wasting that bomb. I say super secure way and watch me mess this up. That was a little bit sketchy. Unparalleled Dev says everyone called him Brogue because he made a roguelike. I wonder if that was him making a joke, because I mean, Frank and I and various other people are personal friends with Michael, but we call him Michael Bro all the time. He never corrected it, but maybe. Hashtag don't die from Shadow DX. Trying. It's so the place where not having the reason I'm nervous about not having the glue. Oh, that was also unnecessary. Is when I'm trying to kill. Okay, now I'm blanking on the boss's name. When I'm trying to kill the dude who has the staff. Jesus, can't believe. Ixnot says your co-host is actually Zach Gaggy. Exactly. Yeah. Zach Gage never bothered to correct me when I call him Zach Gage. His last name is Gaggy. Docky says, haha, at the game company, a coder passed around an untangling game, and all the artists said, this is just UV unwrapping, we hate it. Yeah, it's kind of weird when the game becomes like a puzzle that you're actually solving as an engineering problem. Okay, so if I was paying proper attention, then nowhere have I in this... So now I have to actually start paying attention to... Man, I don't have a cape. I don't have a jetpack. This is all terrible. I do not like what's happening here right now. At all. But anyway, there's for sure no... I don't see the head anywhere here. Where the hell? Oh, there. Okay. Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to go back there. Parachute. Basically a second Ankh. Ooh. I have never thought about the usefulness of the parachute in that context. Do I have one? See, this is how little I care about this stuff. Yeah, I have a parachute. Okay, that's good to know. Man. Thanks, Ix. I just learned a new thing about this game that I've played for 2,000 plus hours in my life. Oh boy. I don't like... Again, I'm not a fan of what's going on here. 3-3 is usually like the latest the head will pop up. Is that true? Is that true or am I making that up? There it is. I don't even know... Again, Ix will know this better than I could ever. I don't even know if the head could pop up in 3-4. Like, I mean, it would if it hadn't popped up before, but what I'm trying to say is I don't remember it ever being later than 3-3. Shady X is like, what a mess. Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty rough. I mean, here's the thing about what's happening here right now. It is so much fun to talk through the process of playing this and talk about other random stuff. Yes! Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for that glue. Okay, Ix says about the Moai head, that's true, unless you also go through the worm, then it shows up only after the mothership, right? Okay, got it. So I don't know if you guys just saw that, but I sacrificed the pug, and I got the glue. Sorry, so that's fantastic. You know what, Docky? Now I can't stop thinking about that UV unwrapping game. So yeah, every night, because I haven't practiced that profession that I mentioned earlier about like geometry processing, PhD style stuff. I haven't done that in a while, so now maybe it's time for me to come back to that. Docky says, "Are the bosses in Spelunky possible without a good selection of items?" So it depends, right? Yeah. So the short answer is yes. Ugh, I didn't want that. I don't want to waste that on that. But you have to know what you're doing, right? Like you have to, like if I can't, so for me, for example, not having the glue when I get to, here, let me do this. This is gonna be great. When I get to this dude, right? So if I don't have the glue when I get to this dude, I am probably gonna die because I'm not that good at cooking. I mean, I can cook bombs, like hold them and then throw them in the air. And sometimes you can like get that boss to like come under geometry and then you just drop 2 bombs on top of him. And that can work. Sacrifice the second pug. Where? Okay, so this is, if I, for whatever reason, just missed an altar because I wasn't paying attention. Was there an altar up here? Ugh, I don't like being that close. Nah, I don't think there's an altar up here. I'd love to sacrifice the second pug to some altar, but I don't think there is one. Oh no! Oh no, of course there is one. It's right there. Literally right there. Ugh. Ix says it's possible to beat a hell run without ever recording a kill. Right, yeah. Is that called low percentage? Yeah, here's how much I know about the game. Sportpernef says this conversation reminds me of the crowdsourced protein folding game. Fold It? Yeah. Oh boy, that's a lot of stories around that. The 2 people who were the leads on that, Adrian Troy and Seth Cooper. Seth Cooper is, I think, a prof somewhere now, and maybe at Northeastern. I think he's at Northeastern. Adrian was a prof at CMU. He's PhD in UW on like controllable physics and controllable smoke simulation. Those 2 worked on Fold It. It's pretty cool. It's an interesting project. Ix says that type of pacifist run is the only category that I've managed to hold off Cage up in. Really? There's a run that you have the world record in and Kinney doesn't? I feel like that's a thing that now, like if Kinney ever hears this, he's going to be like, you just wait. You're probably amazing at this, Ix. I'm not doing you justice at all. Anyway, I also published a paper with those guys, just a side note, on like doing pre-computed rendering for weird run-based games. Pre-computed game, I think it's pre-computed game engines or something like that. ShadowDX says low percent is using only starting items. Oh, right. Yeah. Exactly. The pacifist run is the one where you're not hurting anything. Sportprintf says, I wish it was more successful as a game. Good stuff, if unwieldy as a game. See, that's the problem with Fold It, right? It's like, I'm not going to do the whole, like, painful, is it a tool, is it a game thing? But, like, the people who play, quote-unquote, play Fold It are, like, a group of 300 almost experts at this point, right? Who are, like, yeah, they're gaming, but they're playing a game, but they know what they're doing, right? They understand. They've basically become human optimizers to exactly know when they need to hand arrange a thing and when they can use jitter to like optimize for the protein folding. So it would need to do a lot to be more accessible to people for whom it's not a tool for solving actual really hard problems in biology, right? And biochemistry, and protein folding specifically. Ix says he's got like 50 world records that Moss ranking tracks. I got about 15, and there may be 5 held by others. Ix, I'm sorry. I did not know this. I apologize for not knowing that you are actually not just the voice of the community, but also just like the second best speedrunner of all time, which makes me very, very proud to have you on this show on an almost weekly basis. Because boy, oh boy, could I not do that myself. Okay, so now I do have the glue, but I still don't want to be a crazy person, right? I still want to avoid that. And just do that instead. Now I'm going to wait for the second mummy. Drop on that mummy's head. Got it. Okay, so I'm in 4-1, so obviously I'm looking for Anubis. That's... Welcome to Anubis. It just came to me, right? That's Anubis. The dog-headed... Oh, and that's... a teleport dude. That's what I call those guys. So I definitely need to use a bomb here, because there's no way I want to mess with those telefragging garbage people. Because that's what they do. That's a very stupid, unfortunate way to die. Okay. Can you imagine the story of Hawkman's like, I stood in a corner one day and then I just got killed. Kind of want to hear the stories of the characters. Ah, there you are. There you are, my friend. Okay, so... the way these things are designed is that if I lower a rope right there where I am right now, it's going to actually get burnt by the lava. So let's not do that. Instead, let's bomb this guy out of here. That wasn't enough. Have to wait till that stops again. Just so I can actually get to him. There, that's it. Okay, poor sad crush block. Docky says, as someone who's been doing terrible dailies for the last few weeks, any universal tips to stop sucking? It seems that the best players are endlessly gaming it. I mean, I've had really bad dry spells, right? This is a terrible, by the way, like, I'm also right now, I'm going to waste a lot of bombs on this, but I actually don't think they're wasted, because if I don't, then I think this is going to go horrendously wrong. Yeah, and I also don't want to accidentally die to that lava. So, again, a lot of bombs going to be used for this. And then those guys are going to get killed by... That's a dangerous thing to do. I think for me, honestly, the way I mean, first of all, I suck 9 out of 10 times because I don't beat it. The way it worked for me usually is like realizing all the things I do wrong, right? Like the same way I would get better in chess is like realizing where I went wrong and try to improve it. Like, I tend to die with 50 bombs when I could have just used them to, like, make everything that's a problem go away. And I'm, like, hoarding them like a person who's, like, worried that the final boss is going to need 50 bombs, very well knowing that that's not true, because you get 24 bombs on the Yama level, right? They're very generous. The Yama level is extremely generous. JihadDX says someone needs to write that as a short story. Yeah, so there's a... I mean, I think Metal Gear Solid 3 had that, where if, like, all the people you killed come back and, like, you see them in this, like, sequence in the game, and it's, like, very Kojima. Unparalleled Dev says maybe 100 years from now they will remember the great contributors to medicine. John Salk and the top 10 leaderboard of Fold It. Aren't those people... So I think a lot of those people were co-authors on the paper that got published in Nature on Fold It. I don't know if Jonas is part of it. Tripmo, wow, this ended up too long for me to finish. Good luck, Andy. Much love. If anyone's interested, I'll be doing my daily in 1.5 hours. That's at Tripmo. So yeah, go follow Tripmo on Twitch. I won't be able to make it because it's my turn to take care of the kid. Matron Boy says, Docky, don't compare yourself to insanely good people on YouTube. Fully, I don't watch streams ever apart from this guy. Yeah, I don't either, honestly. Like, for me, it was just playing the daily. Spelunky fanfic. Yeah, I feel like that's something Derek should just do himself, but only after he finishes Spelunky 2. ShadowDX64 says, not bomb hoarding is a great tip. Yeah, I mean, those are the ways I die. The other thing that happened to me earlier today... Oh, what? That's so nice that it just put the... Just put it right there where I wanted it. The way I died earlier today was by, like, jumping into... It was so stupid. There were spikes here. I'm over here. There's a frog, like, almost symmetrically on the other side of the spikes. I jump. Of course, the frog jumps at the same time, hits me midair, and there's a moment of stun where you can't do air control when the frog hits you. And of course, I landed directly on the spikes, right? So there's so many classic ways that I'm still gonna die to. Matron Boy says, it's me, a person always comparing himself to insanely good people on YouTube. I mean, it depends on what you're comparing yourself to, right? Like, I mean, this is going to be, again, slightly tongue-in-cheek, but what was that recently? A student asked me about the discomfort of feeling inadequate, right? In their cohort of students where suddenly everyone's better than you. And I said to this student... If you find a group of people who do the thing that you want to do and they're all better than you, that's as good as it gets. Because most of the time that's not going to happen, because you're going to be the most interested in a topic and maybe everyone around you is less interested. So if you find those people, you're one of the lucky ones, right? And the mere fact that you're interested means that you belong there. Ick says there are a few Spelunky fan arts. Make sure to have safe for work filter on or off depending on what you're interested in. Ooh, okay. Good call. Okay, let's not die stupidly here. So I'm just gonna say, do I have enough bombs here to... Let's lure this guy in the other direction. Because I don't want to die. I mean, I probably don't have to do this, but I'm also feeling pretty good. Sport Per Def says, any love for Risk of Rain? I don't remember hearing anything about it on podcast. So I've never played Risk of Rain 1, but I recently, Nick and I got together to play... Oh, can I die to that? I don't like what's happening here right now. This seems awfully risky. There we go. I played Risk of Rain 2 with Nick for an afternoon on PS4, and it was really fun. And then our friend Steve Swink jumped in, and it turns out he's really good at the game, because he's usually good at stuff that he starts playing. And Steve is like probably the thing I would know Steve for these days is that he's like the biggest Slay the Spire fan. Like, I think he's ooh, I can't not go here, right? Ugh, didn't want that. Well, there's a 12 pack of bombs literally right there. That's why. I kind of don't care about that, but I do care about a 12 pack of bombs. Do I have enough ropes for this? Wait, here's what I'm going to do. This is my dumb strategy that I sometimes use when I don't want to... Of course, I also have to not get stuck. I don't want to have to go down there, because obviously my place is over here. Am I... Oh, Jesus, I'm really stalling on time. Oh, he's dead. He is dead. So let's... I'm still, like, I should be a little bit more careful here about what I'm doing with my time. Come on over here, guys. Come on over here. Come on over here. That's what I wanted. Now quick, get the book. Get the hell out of here. Docky says I felt pretty good being Yama on Classic before HD. Oh, I also have to get out of here at 11. But once HD come along, everyone knew it was endlessly reading wikis and such, and made me feel like I was playing wrong by discovering by playing. Yeah, it's unfortunate because the daily saved me. I think the daily saved me. Matron Boy says, what I love about Risk of Rain 2 is the insanely good Chinese players who are happy to let your piggyback on their insanely OP runs. Definitely didn't play enough for that. Sportpernev says the interactions in Risk of Rain aren't as satisfying as Titus Spelunky, but the number of items is where the game lies. Yeah, it felt a little bit more like Binding of Isaac with respect to the insanity of the items. Oh yeah, it's so funny. Next line, sort of like Binding of Isaac. Yeah, I haven't tried Risk of Rain 2. It's 3D, it's third person, right? I haven't tried Risk of Rain 1. Might be able to find that Cape in 5.1. That's the plan. Okay. A game that Zach can't stop talking about and also like had in his top 5 list is Vagante. It was one of the games that Bennett brought up when he was on the show with respect to highly rated and very successful, but no one ever heard of it. It's like Spelunky, but with like more stuff, supposedly. And so now he's saying we should all definitely play it. Okay, there's the... Am I gonna make that jump? I'm not gonna... Oh, that was close. So Vagante is like something where I think you can also like level up your legs and stuff like that. Like I guess it does some interesting stuff with persistence. Although I'm not even sure about that. I obviously think the next game that I should go deep on is Noita, which I still haven't done yet. Despite having had a code from Petri since last year GDC, which makes me feel a little bit bad. But I'll get to it. It's only so much time in the day. And right now I'm in my... Ugh, I knew that wasn't going to work. Why do I always try that? I'm right now in my play fun single player games that I skipped last year phase, so I'm finally getting around to playing... I finished Outer Wilds, which I thought was cool, but I have issues. I don't think I'm going to get around to talking about them today because I'm taking forever for this run. I finished Disco Elysium, and now I'm playing Death Stranding. I'm only like 5 hours in, but I already think it's cool. Docky says I played Vagante, but it was too stat fussy. Yeah, Zach says it does good on game feel, but I have yet to even grab the game, so I don't know. Oh boy. That was way too close, right? Giving my heart attack... Jeez, ShoutyX giving my heart attacks over here. Matron Boy says Vagante is really lovely and unique. It's pretty Uncharted online. With regards to discussion, so it'd be fascinating hearing it on the show, kind of virgin territory. I'd like to try it. Sportcraft says, part of what I love about Spelunky is you are forced to learn so much about each item because of the austerity. Yep. That's a really good point, right? That's kind of what maybe makes it better than having stat fussiness. Okay, let's get through this game. Here we go again with the Don't bother, Trick. I don't even know why I did that. That is so unnecessary. Well, wait. No, it wasn't. I want the cape. There we go. But now, I also don't want to... How many bombs do I have? I have 18 bombs. Okay. So this is the part where you're going to realize that I'm being unnecessarily... Well, I say unnecessarily. Like, I'm being stingy right now again, as you may or may not be able to tell. Like, I have enough of everything pretty much, but I'm like, well, let's not use it all. Maybe I need it later. Ugh, I hate this. Right, and now, because now I have to use a bomb, because, I mean, I don't have to because I have the cape. Ugh. Goodbye. You know what? Let's not fuss with this. Again, I'm gonna get enough. I'm gonna get more than enough bombs. Oof, that's not what I wanted to do. Although it's fine. Alright, more enough bombs on the last level. Oh boy, you guys are chatty today. That's cool. I love it. Does Vigante have any... okay, you guys got this. I can focus on finishing this game before 11. And by finishing, I mean beating. I do not plan to die at this point. I hope. I'm not even paying attention to my health. I think with 15 bombs around here, I just straight up bomb my way down, right? Because why would I try anything else? That won't hit me. Ooh, I do not want to deal with... Oh boy, okay. Well, so here comes this beautiful little thing that I learned from speedrunners. Where, right, instead of dealing with that, just put 2 bombs there. Oof. Okay, where am I? I'm on the last level. Come on. Will I pay? Will I though? Will I though? Like, I love when the shopkeepers, you'll pay for your crimes. I'm like, I don't know if I will. I probably won't. I don't know, shopkeep. Looks like I won't. Ooh, don't. I'm jinxing it so hard right now. So if I manage to do this, it would be the second time that I do it on the show. Which, weirdly enough, I think might actually almost perfectly line up with my stats. Right? I think I beat the daily on average every 10th time. I think that's the thing I once figured out. Oh god. Let's not mess this up. Okay, how we're doing here. Nope. There we go. 33 bombs. Come on. How could this... Well, there's still a... Yeah, whatever. This game is over. So this is what Derek and Andy mean when they talk about the last level looking harder than it is. Yay! Ta-da! This does not get old. This never gets old. I mean, I don't dissolve into tears anymore when I beat the daily, but it's like my Friday is saved, right? Oh my god. I see you. It's Yang. It's like I'm talking to Derek, right? So I'm like, hey Derek, how's it going? Thanks for showing me the way. I think the first time I beat the game, I did this. I took a screenshot of this and I put it on Twitter, and I just was like I don't know. I was like shaking the rest of the day. Thanks everyone for the congratulations. I'm gonna let this run. I'm actually gonna scroll back through the chat and see what I all missed. Wow, I missed a lot. Oh, it's meta progression. So you guys are talking about Vagante. I haven't played it yet, right? Matron Boy says, I still think Brogue is the gold standard for stat economy. It's very good. It's true. It's really, really good. No capes for ages into it once. Yeah. Honestly, I hadn't tried Spelunky until this month. Sporeprintf says, I got into it via the pod after looking into more Bennett interviews. It brought me into the bro fold as well. Jealous a little bit because it means that you get to discover all that stuff, right? Have a great time. It's a wonderful, wonderful world. Docky says, I've really never seen hell before. Yeah, and the first time you do see it, you're going to probably die in 5 seconds because that's what happened to me like 10 times. But that's fine because if you just play the daily, it turns out even like, and I don't consider myself to be like amazing at platformers. Somehow, you know, stuff starts seeping into your subconscious. Ix says safe to use 12 on the next level. Safe, Matron Boy says I've never seen that creepy girl before. Yeah, the succubi have killed me before. And thanks, Ix. Props to the guy setting up shops in hell. That's funny. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Derek making some cheesy noise on Twitter, hoping 2 isn't too far off. Yeah, I think 2 is pretty close, right? Docky says Brogue is the only ASCII roguelike I enjoy. Yeah, and I'd never experienced it before Zach turned me on to it. And then Zach made a bunch of mods for it that made it even actually a little bit more accessible and a little bit more forgiving, where you don't have to like quaff down potions like crazy on level 3, because it actually just tells you whether they're good or bad. You can probably find a link to that somewhere. If not, I'll dig it up again. Actually, I have it on my desktop. I can just send it if you email me. Horriblewave.brogue suffers from always feeling the same, but maybe it gets more interesting deeper down. Maybe. And I've only played it for like so long that I didn't get to that part. Matron Boy says, can you find Zach's mod on Twitter? Yes. If you type in like @Helvetica and like Brogue mod, I'm pretty sure you're gonna find it, because it's not that long ago. Like it was like, I'm gonna say like early mid last year when we played that. Oh yeah, and Matron Boy, yeah, you can find it. Yeah, Matron Boy says you can find Zach's mod on Twitter. It mods in a daily challenge too, which is a nice way. And I haven't done that one yet, right? But the mod is just the one that's like doesn't force you to like just use all your potions, which is like a thing that's he always had to do on level 3 around there, and he felt like that was unnecessary, you know, because as a good game designer, if you see something that everyone does every time, you just make it go away. Docky says, I play Brogue on iPad and tells if your items are good or bad. Really? Huh. Interesting. Maybe, I don't think Zach knew that. Oh, it got added. Docky says, I think Zach's idea got added. That's kind of cool. Yeah, Brian, who is the creator of Brogue, was extremely kind and generous, right? Elite Woo and Jofro, 2-4 and 2-4. Those are definitely 2 people from the community, because I've never seen those people in my leaderboard before. Matron Boy says there's also a superb Android APK of it. Search Reddit. Unparalleled Dev, that's me. Jofro, cool. 2-4. I just got good today, right? Today was just like I had a really solid run. So you can see that I only play the daily on Steam on Friday. But, you know, because I'm scared of committing to doing this more than once a week. Because yeah, it would actually be fun. Because creator of Secret Hitler, right there. Doc is here. Mima Sweets. Wow, you guys are okay. I gotta start doing this. I have to start getting back on the Steam train, right? Enough people. Man, Tyler's playing it again. Okay. Convinced. I'll do this. So I have to sign off because at this point, my wife has to go work, and I take care of the kid. But before I do that, the one thing I will show you, because I just think it's too cool. The thing I'm going to leave you with for this week, because last week I briefly discussed that I'm getting slightly into sound synthesis and how expensive it is. Turns out, and I may have already brought this up, but I did spend like about a week futzing around with this. I'll show you the patches next week maybe. I don't know how to exactly. I'd have to I don't know if the desktop audio would actually work. So there's a thing called VCV Rack that is a Eurorack modular synthesis simulator that works amazingly well. It only requires you to spend 24 hours per week in tutorials to understand how it works. But this is the thing that I'm doing right now that I am not at 80% yet, for sure, right? I don't even know if the audio, I don't even know if the audio would come through, but here's like a little demo patch. I don't think the audio is going to come through, but one can try. Actually, if I go to Yeti stereo microphone, it might go through. I guess I'd see it in the peak over here. Oh, it comes through. Right, so you can do stuff like this, right? Like have some, like I'm not going to go into the details of how this works right now. I might talk about it next week. But, you know, each of these is a module. You can plug them together to get like really cool stuff. And it's free. Free. It's insane. Docky says, I think I'm wrong with Brogue's items, but I could have sworn last time I played it, it had up and down arrows for items. It could. Unparalleled Dev says that sounds amazing and NES nostalgic. It's kind of what I was going for. I was definitely going for like a little bit of a Kokiri Forest style thing. Matron Boy says talk about electroplankton one day. Yes, I will gladly talk about electroplankton one day. I have to sign off for now, but it's been real. That was super fun. I'm obviously going to be floating on a cloud for the rest of the day as I basically sharpen my skills at using this Eurorack thing if I can get around to it. Docky says I like electronic plankton. Yeah, this is a kind of a quick sign off because normally I ramble on forever about something else, and I think today was cool because we got to pause a lot in the game and have like a bunch of like game design thoughts again. That's what I really, really, really like doing for the most part. But then I usually, like, if I don't get to speed running or we still have a couple of minutes at the end, I usually am like, and here's the other thing that I think is kind of cool right now in the world and is also a thing that is potentially affordable because, let's face it, I've been watching a bunch of Moog videos lately, like, which Moog synthesizer should I get? And the cheapest one is like $1,000, right? So it's like, yeah, it's pretty expensive. But boy, oh boy, is it fun. So yeah. To Docky's point, right? What I'm trying to do here is to build out my breadth of skills such that when needed, I can like do stuff myself to some extent or have a better way of communicating with people who are potentially working with me on something and have a better respect for their craft because I then see just how hard it is to do that stuff myself. And because it's just straight up super, 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 super fun to learn a new thing, I think. Cool. With that, thank you all for hanging out and watching me succeed at this game for the second time on the show. Docky says, thanks so much for the stream. I'm going to tackle the daily now. That was an amazing balance of Chad and Spelunky. Thanks, Docky. It was, it's, when it works, it's amazing, right? Sometimes it gets me off, but also similar to getting good at Spelunky or this other building block stuff I'm doing right now. I think it's just practice, right? Over time, things certainly start getting better and better. It helps that you guys are all amazing and super nice to me. So thank you very much for continuing to watch. I hope to see you all latest next Friday again. We do not know exactly who's going to be on the show next week. We have like 3 candidates. They're all amazing. And if we don't have, well, they'll all be on at one point or another. They're all great. So have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you all next Friday. Take care.